Well, hello everyone, welcome to another video, and today you can just barely see that Sora is sitting in my lap, so I'm going to be a little bit trained and calm tonight while we do this, so maybe I should turn down the volume just a smidge. By the way, the music tonight is brought to you by a certain X character, and yeah, it makes sense why I've chosen this one if you think about it. But anyway, tonight's video is basically A2 and why I think people should wait. And before people get too annoyed writing in the comments, you're wrong or you're right, you get people on both sides, let me just state, I actually think that A2 is going to be insane. The biggest thing to me it's like a teller that A2 is going to be a very popular character. One, she's from a popular series and a character that people have been asking for a while. Two, barrier protection is just such a unique thing and something that I think a lot of teams, old characters especially, are going to be really reevaluated for. Like, yeah, re-raise and surviving an attack can give you one extra turn, but barrier can potentially provide you a lot of extra turns depending on the type of barrier and who you're against. But it is just absolutely worth remembering that I think barrier is just going to be so good. The other thing is that similar to Old and Helena, she has the one ability that does 1,000 things ability, which is just really good. But there's a couple of points that I want to raise on contention. So first off, a friendly reminder that this the collaboration goes live tomorrow on JP at 3 p.m. That is not tonight at midnight for the Nier collaboration, and that's just really important if you're wondering where's my live stream tonight. Umber, why aren't you streaming this? I can't. So just please remember that going forward. All right, with that, let's take a few other details. So here we have A2. We've already talked about her a ton in the previous video. She has continuous attacks. She has healing. She has damage. She has a ton of stuff that are making her look absolutely insane. And of course, the one thing that, slightly overlooked, but people should know, is that she's a machine. She's not a human, which makes human killer effects less good, and that makes generally her just a little bit better to evaluate because most people don't run machine killer, so at least not yet. But here we're looking at DPS just being better for her and AP acquisition, which is very cool. As for her vision card, we already know that it effectively supports her and a bunch of other characters based on jobs, and there's a lot of different characters that I think are going to be really, really interested in getting the vision card abilities as well. So that's really, really nice. I think that A2 has a ton of potential with the water element, with the earth element, and hell, even fire and beyond. Just because, again, characters that run barrier protection, the fact that you can now ensure that those barriers have a better chance of just being good is a really, really super strong thing. The only downside is that she is a 100 cost, which means she's not as cost effective as the other we're going to talk about. So I'm going to now just essentially talk about that, which is to say about A2, and I just want to make sure when, I believe it's just when the other collaboration goes live. Yeah. We're fine. Oops, I opened the file manager. Interesting. So the other two are 2P and the New Year's character, and I think those are both characters that kind of should put a little bit of the weight, unless you are a super big fan of A2 or a super big fan of Nier. There is always the chance that a New Year's character is just going to be insanely strong, and as much longevity as this character. I do really think, from at least all initial previews, that A2 is going to be this year's King Bradley, and will put Ice and whoever she's with into really, really strong contention for potentially even an entire year, depending on how exclusive her effect actually turns out. But 2P is a strike unit and a slightly lower cost strike unit, which makes her slightly more valuable. And Rainbow Strike, like you consider the fact that she is AoE Shred and Dispel, both of those things are very, very good for Strike as a damage type. It brings potentially old Strike units back. And there's still her Vision card, which is a little bit of a question mark, which, while an SSR card, just generally puts 2P as a much cheaper investment now for most people, and could actually end up paying out better depending how A2 is maybe incredibly weak to Strike. And therefore, 2P is just a really, really good investment that's coming out straightly after. It's not unheard of for the second character in a collaboration to be the stronger of the two for different reasons. So yeah, 2P I think is a consideration, but then there's the New Year's character, who we don't know who it is, we don't know what element they are, we don't know what weapon type they are. The New Year's characters are always in strong contention for a long time. Warmont is a New Year's character who has been around forever and is still being used, fairly successfully too, no less. Wing Stern, well, I wouldn't say that he has lasted as well as some other characters, potentially. He is still out there, and he is still winning games, and that also makes him very strong, and of course, Wing Stern definitely. So yeah, while I think that I'm going to go on record as saying that I think A2 is going to be a nightmare on JP. I think she's going to be everywhere. I think she's going to be in a ton of different teams. And which team is going to come out on top, I just don't know. I would expect maybe water, a combined water team or a combined earth team will be generally stronger. Because if you look at the potential of fire lightning countering a water ice team, fire uses normally more DPS on the fire side now, as opposed to the lightning side. You know, with Soul being so good and whatnot. And, you know, maybe use out Fawns or a tank or something. That kind of works in counter to Summer Glassy just being the tank, because fire is kind of harder time there, which is going to protect your ice better. So yeah, I think that A2 is going to be everywhere, and a really, really interesting character is how she develops, because a lot of characters out there with barriers that have been having their barriers removed, they'd like to have a word, manager. But yeah, let's continue on. 2B and 9S also getting their upgrades. That'll be interesting. Eye on all the different stuff with Limit Burst, and then we get into the login. So the logins for JP, we're getting 2 as kind of, you know, a celebration of the season sort of thing. Oh, or as kind of in frame. Here you go, bud. Up you go. A little too hot in Dad's lap. Dad's talking too much. There are still, of course, login bonuses for Nier as well. So kind of a double header this week in terms of benefits as we get into the end of the year. As for stuff, people have been asking, 9S is still the free unit. This is a single collaboration of Nier Automata, which means that the characters will be using the same orbs, unless they change something in the last little bit, but it wasn't mentioned on stream. They will be more than likely using the same Nier orbs, and you will be getting another free 9S if you don't already have one already. As for banners for A2, from a cursory look, there doesn't seem to be anything too terribly special going on with the banners for Nier. They're mostly the same and standard for what you'd expect from a 100 cost unit. The only difference, I think, is that we also have the VC ones coming this week, so potentially a fairly heavy week, depending on what you are looking to get your hands on, if everything. And there will be, of course, be this, which is the usual collaboration banner, which is usually a scam, just because I don't think I've ever heard this working out very well for anyone ever, and there's no proof that you can show me. Don't comment on it. Seriously, there's no proof. There is, of course, some banners for old units as well, which might be good for some people who didn't join the game back then and are missing these characters. Whether they'll be good or not. There is a 9-step. The 9-step to me just doesn't look particularly great, because while it guarantees a bunch of different shards, it doesn't guarantee a unit at the end of it. Feels bad for old units. Also here, the step up, I just don't really like the old step ups as much. But I am going to give a special shout out, if I haven't already. I'm going to do it again for this card, because this is one of those vision cards that if you missed it, you're kind of screwed for a really, 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 really long time. And of course, we are into job cards nowadays, which, yeah, job cards are just generally good, but this Nier Automata VC is an attack increase for the specific unit equipped with it, luck bonus, which is important if you want to do evade style stuff, but also critical damage and spirit as a party effect. And yeah, there just isn't, Wind has never gotten anything else like this for a long time. So if you're a Wind aficionado, but you don't have this VC, this is probably worth the throwing down just 10k and getting the VC and getting it maxed before the end, especially since Holo VCs, you can't use stars on them anyway, so there's no real point saving them for them. All right, and that's not all. We do have some special banners, just once a day for a little bit leading up to New Year's. There's also this one for 1,000 Fade Lapis, 10 URs on a 10 pull. No rerolls or anything, one time only. This will be around the New Year's time. So one more resource drain before the end of the year. We also have this one, which is a guarantee of 2 URs. I don't think I saw a price on that, but we'll see when it comes out. And yeah, that kind of gets it, at least it for now. We're going to see another live stream next week for the announcement of the final new character here, and well, technically the final and first character for this and next year, as you know, it happens at New Year's. But yeah, we'll see what A2 generally looks like when she comes out, her full kit and everything like that. I still think it's valuable for JP players to wait. For global players, you can kick back, watch the fireworks that are about to happen on JP, because I think this will be a pretty big meta. Thanks so much for watching. Take care and see you later.